trying to describe what new wine is, I've sometimes used a quote from The Matrix where Morpheus tells Neo that no one can be told what the Matrix is. They have to experience it for themselves. That's kind of how new wine is, that there's an aspect to it. There's this intangibleness to it that's beautiful and amazing. You go to a retreat or a conference, you walk out feeling uplifted and inspired and honestly changed. It has changed me as a pastor, as a father, as a husband, as a Christian man.
When I was introduced to New Wine, New Wineskins by Dr. Paul Lewis Metzger in 2006, I learned something that I had been really seeking for, and that is a deep understanding of Trinitarian theology. I'm here to tell you that understanding and that knowledge changed my life and my ministry.
Since 2012, I've had the privilege and honor of journeying alongside like-minded individuals who are pressing into a deeper understanding of the upside-down kingdom of God revealed through Jesus. Over time, my focus become more specific as I've committed myself to understanding and serving those on the margins, particularly individuals with special needs and challenges. And I deeply value the time we spend engaging in our diverse contexts while prayerfully supporting one another. Together, we passionately desire to share the love of Jesus with those around us.
I've also been involved in New Wine, New Wineskins, an organization that I love for over 25 years. New Wine exists to do kingdom work and to connect people from diverse backgrounds to realize the power of the gospel and how we can connect with people that are hurting. I'm a changed man as a result of the gospel, and New Wine is facilitating my ongoing discipleship, love process for loving God and loving my neighbor.
I previously was invited to attend a prayer summit in the early 2000s for an African-American male, young male, who had been wrongfully killed. At the time, I was struck to the core by New Wine, New Wineskins' mission and vision, building relational bridges through Jesus Christ in contemporary culture. It is so needed. It was needed then, it is needed now, and it is needed in our future.
I love New Wine because every time I'm involved with an event, I'm always challenged to think deeply about really important matters. And one that's been standing out to me is how to connect with neighbors, friends, loved ones that come from different faith perspectives, and how I can really listen to them and connect.
I was born in El Salvador, raised in Puerto Rico, and I appreciate the cross-cultural upbringing that I had and how beautifully it fits with bridging the cultural divide of New Wineskin. I believe that discourse and authentic engagement is among our greatest human assets, and I am so honored to be a part of this team.
New Wine, New Wineskins is about the work that the Apostle Paul describes as the ministry of reconciliation. It is a reminder to see God in everyone by looking for God in everyone, which can only happen when we are available to meet with one another and to share life together by God's grace.
As a Christian, I'm deeply troubled by a Christian church today that seeks to build walls to control rather than bridges to connect, a church that has allowed racism to abide rather than neighborly love. And undergirding all these ideas and actions is a deeply entrenched theology. While there is a place to combat these ideas at a political level and a social level, I think New Wine is uniquely positioned to address the root of the problem with a theological response. 20 plus years ago, I came to Multnomah Seminary seeking to build a Christian arsenal of theological arguments to win the world for Christ. Instead was New Wine, which slowly disarmed me with the love of the triune God. It is this love of the triune God that is at the heart of New Wine, which I believe is so desperately needed today in our increasingly divided and polarized world.
I first encountered New Wine as a seminary student through coursework and conversation with Dr. Metzger. That experience gave me a theological framework for holistic ministry, one rooted in the reconciling work of the triune God and committed to restoring relational bridges. For 25 years, New Wine, New Wineskins has shown many of us that theological depth and meaningful community engagement belong together. And I am truly grateful to be a part of that story.
Since New Wine's inception in the year 2000, we have been committed to building relational bridges through Jesus in contemporary culture. The language of new wine, new wineskins is taken from Luke chapter 5, where we find Jesus having a conversation with many religious leaders in his day. He says to them, "You must pour new wine into new wineskins. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the skins will burst and the new wine will be poured out. Rather, you must pour new wine into new wineskins." What Jesus is getting at is that he must operate very differently from the customs and formalities of the day, because he must engage people where they're at and engage them heart to heart and life on life. We see this new wine, new wineskins approach on display in Luke chapter 5. Here a man cries out to Jesus to heal him of his leprosy. No doubt this man had been in this condition for quite some time. He had been shunned and isolated by so many people. But Jesus, knowing his isolation, reaches out and touches him, cleansing him. We also see this new wine, new wineskins approach of building relational bridges on display in Luke 5, where Jesus is invited to have table fellowship with Matthew or Levi the tax collector and other tax collectors and sinners, as they would have been deemed. And this too would have been seen as scandalous, because these were not seen as holy, righteous people. But Jesus often associated with those that no one else would, because he loved people from his heart and could see through various cultural forms and even baggage to get to people heart to heart and life on life. And so Jesus breaks through barriers and has table fellowship with tax collectors and sinners to draw them to God. I believe this message of building bridges, not putting up walls, and cultivating table fellowship with people has more significance now than when New Wine was founded in the year 2000. Why is that? Because we live in increasingly polarized times, where if people don't associate with us or agree with us ideologically, politically, culturally, we shun them. We isolate them as if they are lepers. We see ourselves so often as righteous, and they're the ones who are sinful. We need Jesus to break through to our hearts that are often stone cold. We need Jesus to help us engage others in ways that are more like new wine being poured into new wineskins. So at this benefit dinner, as we celebrate what God has been doing in our midst for 25 years, so we look forward to seeing how God will guide us and direct us to continue to build bridges with people of all walks of life and to have table fellowship with people of all walks of life as God breaks through to all of us to draw us to Christ by God's Spirit and to build those relational bridges anew in our day.
And I wanted to take this special moment to congratulate New Wine, New Wineskins for 25 years.
Congratulations, New Wine, New Wineskins, on your 25th anniversary.
We really would love to invite you to be a part of it.
Will you join us?
God bless you.